did my best, but it was not much. I could not feel, so I tried to touch, and I told the truth, Lord, I never tried to fool you. And even though it all went wrong, I'll stand before the Lord.
Chairman, Chief Executive, ladies and gentlemen, members of business in the community and our awardees, it's a joy to be here in Belfast on a beautiful sunny day and to be in this packed hall, absolutely jam-packed hall, to see the waterfront buzzing with people who are all of the one mind, people who come from very different perspectives, very different backgrounds, different disciplines, different everything, but with a common platform and a common focus and a common faith in business leadership, the importance of business leadership, and also a very profound understanding of the links, the need for connectedness between those who are in business and the communities in which they operate. Frankly, there couldn't be a more timely time, could there, to be talking about responsible leadership, particularly allied to those words, business and community. I was working in Queen's University and we started a local outreach to our neighbours, a good neighbour policy we called it, and we started talking to our local neighbours. And I remember going to a community centre in Sandy Row and meeting a huge number of people there who were very interested in what we, the university, could bring by way of being good neighbours. But I got into chat with a lady, a woman who told me about taking her grandchild to primary school each day, and she walked her to a primary school that wasn't too far from Queen's, but on the far side of Queen's, on the Botanic Avenue side. And I said, just in chatting, I discovered that she went what I would call the long way round. And I said to her, why don't you just walk through Queen's? And she said, oh, I didn't think the likes of me could do that. And that made me stop in my tracks. And on that day, I saw with a great clarity exactly what business in the community is about. Business in the community is about making connections to people like that, making them and helping them to understand they matter. You're the people who prove every day the worth of the value system that business in the community is a champion of and stands for. You know, look, we can measure we can measure the money you spend, we can measure the hours that you give, we can measure the awards that you get, we can do all those things, but you know, I don't think there's probably any serious way to measure the outcomes, the value that you add to community life and to individual life. You will know it. But some of these things simply are not measurable. The optimism, the positivity, the changed atmosphere, the general sense of fulfillment that many people get from being involved in their workplace, in community-connected activities.
I have had a wonderful experience in the business world, run large organizations. I have lived firsthand the challenges that you're going through now. I understand the loneliness of leadership in times of turmoil and uncertainty, and we are clearly in one of those times right now. But I also learned through that experience that business has a unique and powerful role to play in society. I learned that you can create value within an organization by living your values. And the ethos that I tried to bring through all of that, and certainly that are important themes marked to me now, are simple ones, but perhaps are these, that humanity shares a common fate on a crowded planet. We're all in this together. That we're experiencing a pace of change that is unprecedented in history and unlikely to change. We're in a 7x24 world. We're all wondering what's happening on our BlackBerries. As I'm saying this now, you're all going to start looking as I say that. But I also learned in my previous life that sustainable organizations and sustainable communities like the one we're in now and sustainable worlds have to be built on the principles of social justice and environmental stewardship.
What do you say to that chief executive who says, it's a lovely idea in an ideal world, but I've got my shareholders to think about?
Well, I can say a number of things. The Economist had a headline story of several years ago that said, the business of business is business. And I agree with that. Responsible business practice, corporate responsibility, call it whatever we want. This isn't philanthropy. There's nothing wrong with philanthropy. Philanthropy is a good thing, but this isn't philanthropy. This is different. Responsible business practice, the things we're celebrating tonight in this room, your achievements, are all about how you run your business, how you make your money, how you challenge your markets, how you build your brands, how you build your people, recruit, retain, and develop the best people, how you manage your risk, how you do all of those things, how you treat the planet, how you create inclusive workforces. And when you begin to think about all that, you say, hold on a minute, that's just good business. By the way, we're doing something positive in the world in which we live and work. We've had some research done looking at companies that participate in what we call the CR Index, the Corporate Responsibility Index. And really what that is a benchmarking tool that measures and manages non-financial issues in an organization. And the research we did shows, both before, during, and after this recession, that the companies who manage their CR issues are better performing businesses. Their share prices respond better, they recovered more quickly in the environment. So there is tangible evidence that says behaving responsibly and managing non-financial things is part of creating long-term value. The other interesting tidbit, and this was just last week, and I think, Paul, this was from your firm at PwC, but looking at what motivates employees in this country. And if you run a business, you've got to pay attention to what motivates your employees. And they made a long list of the things that really drive employee behavior, and things like salary and bonus were on the list. But number one was flexible working, and number three was given the opportunity to go out and do volunteering in the community. Number three on this whole long list of things. And so if you're trying to run a business and you're trying to manage expectations and you're trying to bring your costs down and you've had to make some people redundant, you want to keep your teams focused, what are the things that you can do that really make them feel part of something? And the kinds of things that we're going to celebrate tonight do just that. So you're doing it because it's the right thing to do, but it's also the right thing for your business.
I'm delighted to name Jeremy Jackson as my Northern Ireland Business in the Community Ambassador.